Hey guys, welcome back to the channel. Another video here, second video of the day. I don't think I've done this in a while, but just real excited about 2024 and what the crypto space will bring. I hope to accomplish a lot of my financial goals in this year and the next year. So I'm going to start doing weekly news videos, just basically news that is of interest of me, hopefully of interest to you, and can help me figure out how I want to make my investment strategy. So guys, let's get into it and talk about what happened in the week that was for crypto. So if we look at the fear and greed index, we see that currently we're at 55. So last week we were teetering on the neutral. Now we're getting close to greed. So people are, the sentiment's getting better in the crypto space, and that's good. Now we look at the overall market cap. According to Artemis, we're at 1.6 trillion. As far as active addresses, you see about 6.9 million. Down about almost 20% the past 24 hours. And then if we see total transactions, we're about 50 million. So overall, that's what the crypto space is looking like right now. And then let's take a look at some of the L1 chains and the activity. L1 is my big focus. Most of my investments are in L1s and Bitcoin. But if we look at daily active addresses, we see that Near is at 1.4 million. Solana is at 1.1. Ethereum's about 414,000, Avalanche C-Chain 45,000, and then Sui 18. And I've been tracking this for a while, and I've always wondered, why is Near so much higher than everyone else? And Near has this one app, or this DApp rather, called Sweat. It's like one of those active apps as far as your steps and everything like that. It's getting a lot of traction. And I think that's why you see the daily active addresses is so high for Near compared to the others. It's number one, and that makes sense because then when you look at daily transactions, you would think with daily active addresses it would match the daily transactions, and it does not. And that again, that supports my theory that it's the Sweat app or DApp that's giving all that traction over there at Near. But you see daily transactions, Solana's at 27.8, and then you see Near at 3 million, only 3 million, right? Sui's at 1.2, ETH's at 1 million, Avalanche at 326,000, and then Cardano's at 64,000. And that's an increase. Cardano was around 35, 40. Now it's good to see that daily transactions are increasing on Cardano. We like Cardano over here on this channel, so that's good. But if we see who takes the top one, that's going to be Solana with daily transactions. So that's good. Now, if we look at DEX volume, according to Artemis here, you see that total DEX volume, you see ETH at 1.25 billion. Solana is second up with 554 million. Avalanche 51.9, Sui 46, and then Cardano is 6.6 million, and then Near is at 2.3 million. So that's what we got as far as L1 activity. Now let's take a look at CoinMarketCap to see where we're at for the week. Rather, we'll see that Bitcoin is up not even 1%, but it's good that we're out of the 30,000 range, 38, 39. We're in the 40s again, so that's good. So 41,880. We see that ETH for the past week is down 7.8%, so up to 2,200. Solana for the past 7 days is up. It just changed, but up 2%. We're up 92, so we're past the $80 mark. So that's good. XRP is down 3.3%. You see Cardano down almost 5% at 48 cents currently. Avalanche up almost 1%. Doge is up a little bit. We'll talk about that later. Polkadot is down a little. Chainlink is down almost 10%. Good buying opportunity. Polygon is up almost 0.5%. So overall, we're trading sideways. Nothing pretty much stands out. You see that Injective's at $35. Let's see here. Near is taking a little drop. It's at $2.91. Celestia is at $17. Probably good buying opportunity there. So overall, some of my favorite ones are doing okay. We see that Say is down almost 6%. Good buying opportunity there. It's at 64 cents. Sui we talked about. Look at Sui. Sui for the past 7 days almost up 30%. So that's interesting. They're up $1.40. So that's what the market's looking like currently. Now, if we look at what was holding us down last week, a lot of Bitcoin selling. That was what's going on. Grayscale was selling. GBTC, people were leaving, so they have to sell Bitcoin in order to pay the folks. Now, if we look at just the spot ETFs, since it got approved, if we look at the allocations and if we look at what Grayscale has been selling off, just look at these numbers, right? It's crazy. Let's see, day 2, day 3, and day 7 probably was the highest that Grayscale was just unloading Bitcoin, $640 million worth. Just all red. Just look at it all across. But what I want to show you in this chart is that if you look at these numbers up here, steadily they're decreasing. You know, that's 594, 460, 582, and this was the peak at 640 million. But now look at that, 515, 429, 394. So as far as them unloading Bitcoin onto the market and suppressing that price, it should be decreasing. And we know that Bitcoin leaves the market, and Bitcoin is not, unless it's altcoin season. Bitcoin is going down. It's going to bring the other alts down as well. So that's why we want to see this stop. And we all know that the guys up here, all these other ETFs are, you know, GBTC selling, they're buying. So they're accumulating. They're all accumulating. And I'll show you at the end of the video what the tally is for all these other ETFs. So don't let this, you know, fudge you out. Basically, they have to do this for their financial obligations. But these other folks, they know what's going on. Then you have the long-term holders that haven't sold since forever. So we're still dealing with a hard asset that is very, very valuable. It's going to be worth a lot of money in the future. Also, to add to, you know, the depressed value of Bitcoin, U.S. said that they intend to dispose of 117 million in Bitcoin seized from Silk Road drug dealer. So this was filed earlier this month. We don't know when they're actually going to release that. We don't even know if it's been released already. At least I don't. But there's something to be mindful of. So, you know, we have Grayscale to worry about, but it looks like they're almost out. And then we have this that's going to happen. But other than that, we prefer that it happen now than right before the Bitcoin halving. So that's in April. So hopefully all this unloading happens before then. People accumulate, and then we ride this thing to the sky. Also, CoinShares predicts 2024 is the year of Bitcoin. It's going to be driven by the U.S. Fed cutting the rates because of inflation slowing down, and investor interest in fixed supply assets, which I just covered in the spot ETFs. It's just going to add to the global adoption to Bitcoin, taken seriously as an asset class, and crypto in itself. So that is positive. Now, I always look at this as far as digital assets, as far as the investments by big corporations, institutions, smart money. We know all of 2023, there were inflows, and the top 3 were Bitcoin, Ethereum, and Solana. Now, it looks like there's been a lot of outflows as far as people selling. Now, for this past week that just happened, we see that Bitcoin had an outflow of 25 million, ETH had an outflow of 14 million, and Solana had an outflow of 8.5 million. So people are just taking profits. That's what it appears to be. It's not too concerning for me, just because these projects I believe in all of them wholeheartedly. So, but it's just something to take note of. Could just be profit taking. That's all I think it is. Now, we covered this as far as the Fed. You know, there was an inflation gauge that came out this past Friday, and it's the one that the SEC looks at in order to determine, you know, what their impact has been on inflation in the U.S. And according to the reading yesterday, it was up 0.2%. And it was up 2.9% from a year ago, year over year. So the core personal consumption expenditures price index for December increased 0.2 on the month and was up 2.9 on a yearly basis, including this gauge. It includes all of this. It includes volatile food and energy costs. Headline inflation also rose 0.2 for the month and held steadily at 2.6 annually. Consumer spending increased 0.7, stronger than the 0.5 estimate that they were anticipating, and personal income growth edged lower at 0.3, in line with the forecast. So personal income, as far as savings, people are dipping into savings in order to combat inflation. Overall, I think the tightening and the Fed increase, you know, it is causing the numbers to go down. People every day is still spilling, you know, we're still feeling the pinch, whether it's here, whether it's across, no matter where you're at. You can be in India, you can be, I know Russia, definitely feeling it. You could be, Turkey's definitely feeling it. I mean, it's all over. Inflation is it's a killer. And one of the ways to combat that, in my opinion, is definitely Bitcoin and some crypto investments. It's going to outperform, the drag of inflation. But this is positive, and it's probably going to support that Fed cuts that will come in the future. And also, this is according to U.S. Trueflation rate, that according to them, it's currently at 1.7, and the government's reporting that is at 3.4. So I don't know about this. I don't feel that it's 1.7. When I go out, if I'm going out to eat, if I'm going out just to live, anything that I'm doing now is more expensive than it was 2 years ago. And I don't think that increase is only 1.79%. So again, Bitcoin, crypto, you're in the right space. But as far as market watch, we know that the Fed, they have a meeting on the January 31st this year here in the US. And most are anticipating that there will be no cuts and no increases, and it will stay steady at the current rate. However, there is another meeting in March, and this is when we're anticipating some cuts. So right now it's at 46.2% that they're anticipating there will be a cut. And if that cut happens, guys, right in line, right before we have the Bitcoin halving, things will take off. So you want to monitor this closely. So let's see what happens. And then after that, there's another meeting in May. And then you see in May, people are really thinking that there'll be cuts. And then after that, even greater cuts. So this is about a 0.25 cut. This is a 0.50 cut. So all cuts, right? And it makes sense. This is June. Then you have July. And right before November in US, we have an election. So I imagine that these cuts will take place to make the economy jumpstart. People start feeling good about where the economy is headed. So I think it's going to be positive. So second quarter, third quarter of 2024, I expect big things for crypto and assets, equities as well. So SEC delays a decision on a spot ETF for Ethereum. We know for the past 2 weeks, Ethereum was increasing on high speculation because right after the spot Bitcoin ETF got approved, people had just said, hey, it's common. It's going to happen. ETH is next. And so the money started flowing into ETH. But then with the delays and everything like that, the Coinbase lawsuit that's happening currently, all that speculation kind of died down. But I anticipate at some point a spot ETF will happen for Ethereum, but I don't know that it'll happen sometime. I don't know. Maybe not this year, but we'll see. You never know. Also, Coinbase is unregulated. SEC clashes with the crypto industry. Another lawsuit with SEC and Gary Gensler against the crypto space. They had the Grayscale one, the Futures one, they lost. They had the Ripple one, pretty much they lost most of the counts there. And now we're dealing with this one. So basically, SEC sued Coinbase for operating as an unregistered exchange broker. And Coinbase is arguing that its staking and wallet services are not securities. A lot of legal experts, reviewing the facts of the case, believe that Coinbase has a 70% chance of winning this lawsuit. So that'd be very, very positive for the space. If they lose, there might be some issues. But right now, everything's indicating that, SEC is overreaching and Coinbase has a good chance of winning the case. So we want to monitor that one. At least I'll be. Also, I had made a video about this earlier. When airdrop on Solana has taken place, it happened yesterday, and it's going to happen until Monday, which is the 29th of January. So it's going to be spread across all of the Solana wallets. If you've been interacting with the Jupiter exchange, and they're also going to have a airdrop and a launch on January 31st. Anyway, if you've been interacting with that exchange, if you have a Saga phone, and if you hold certain NFTs, you will get a free airdrop of this. And this has been driving a lot of activity on Solana. I made a video earlier saying that I got an allocation of this, and at some point it was worth 70 to 80 bucks. So whatever is not claimed on Monday, allegedly it will be burnt. So that could only help the price of this meme/NFT project. So that's cool. That's fun. Next, we have Swiss crypto bank Signum. I hope I'm pronouncing that correctly. Inches closer to unicorn status with 40 million. They were looking to raise 35 million, but they raised 40. So this is a bank over there out in Europe, and their clientele mainly is in Europe and Southeast Asia. And just things like this, they're good because it's going to show other financial institutions that there's a spot Bitcoin ETF in the US and Canada, different parts of the country, and it's a recognized and respected asset class. And if this bank succeeds and they get funding, maybe it'll spread across, and you won't only have someone in Europe. You have more in US, more in different parts of the world, and that's what we want to see. We just want to see increased adoption. So that is positive news in my opinion. Next, we have Dogecoin and actually hit a high following the news of the X/Twitter payment system. We know Elon was trying to get some payment integration into X, and it's my belief that it's going to be all electronic. Maybe USD stable coins, but you better believe that crypto will be integrated. I mean, Tesla owns Bitcoin. So you know that he's into the crypto space. He talks about Dogecoin a lot. So there's a lot of speculation that Dogecoin will be integrated into X as a form of payment. We all know that in Tesla, you can buy certain accessories with Tesla using Doge. So it's not far-fetched to think that Doge may benefit and be integrated into this X payment system. So for the Doge holders, that is good news. Next, we have Solana. They're unleashing token extensions to the SPL token standard. Basically, what tokens is going to help with integration or getting web businesses and enterprises into the Web3 space. And these token extensions enhances privacy, security, and all of that. Some of the hesitations that businesses and enterprises have to getting into crypto in the first place. So, you know, Solana's going all out. They want to get into everything. They want to get that smooth transition from Web 2 and Web 3. They want peer-to-peer. They want businesses. They want everyone on the ecosystem transacting on the ecosystem at a cheap price and fast. So the fast and finality is probably going to come. It's already quick and fast right now, one of the fastest blockchains in the space. But with Jumpstart and Fire Dancer, they hope to be the fastest. And if that happens, that's going to help with that adoption. So right now, they're doing everything. Right now, I know that the memes right now is kind of clouding over Solana because that's what's driving all the activity. But there's much, much more to the Solana ecosystem, and it's one of my top holdings. So be on the lookout for that. Also, we have more Solana news that the Jupiter Exchange flipped Uniswap index volume to claim the #1 spot. And that could possibly, and mainly it's probably because of the Win airdrop that just took place. But still, there's a lot of activity. And say what you want about the memes and all the degen plays, but it is driving activity and a notification people noticing Solana. So that's what it is. But again, that's not all Solana has to offer. Also, Say this is from a couple of weeks ago, but you can see that Say is taking a little breather like we just saw, but it's still a promising project. Things are just increasing. They have upgrades upcoming, and I just wanted to show you some of the on-chain metrics. You see that the market cap, they're above 50. As far as total market cap, 1.74 billion. You know, when I was talking about this thing, it was not even at $1 billion. Then it got to $1 billion, so it's just increasing. Total transactions about 1 billion. Total transactions past 30 days, 212 million. Total accounts, 771,000. So we're about to hit that million mark. Daily active accounts, 29.3. So it's a new chain just launched, but it's still building. I think this thing has a lot of promise, and we'll just see where Say goes. So keep accumulating because I have to see big things for this project come the bull cycle. Next, we have AVAX. AVAX is outlining a scaling solution, Virix, that's going to help it achieve 100,000 TPS. So, you know, if that goes through and they're successful with that launch, that's going to make it one of the fastest. And so you like to see it. Avalanche is a good layer 0 basically right now. And it looks like their edge compared to the other L1s would be gaming. So let's see what happens with that. But very positive news with Avalanche. Next, Bitwise was one of the ETFs that actually publicized and listed their Bitcoin address. So you can see exactly how much Bitcoin they own. But what's been happening is probably holders of Bitwise or whoever has been sending little amounts or amounts of Bitcoin to that wallet, which is very interesting. And as a result, that integration of that funds coming into Bitcoin is going to benefit everybody that holds that Bitwise ETF. Why is that, you may ask? Because I believe there's a rule where they can't really get money for that. So according to S-1 filing, if Bitwise involuntarily receives assets, it may sell them for cash, proportionally distribute the cash to shareholders. There you go. So that's good. If you hold that, and that may be another reason why you probably, if you're in the ETFs, that might be a good one to take a look at. So Bitwise, kudos to them. Very nice. Next, let's take a look at some of the unlocks that's coming up. We have Sui that has an unlock coming up. Let's see here. Wow, today I believe. So that one's coming up for about 1.1 million. You have Optimism. They have one coming up in 2 days for 74 million. Let's see here. GMT have one coming up in 4 days for 910,000. Obviously, I'm skipping over some of these, but these are the ones that I'm familiar with and I consider good projects. GMX has one coming up, but GMX total unlocks about 94.7, so it's not too bad. Glimmer, Moonbeam, they have one coming up in 14 days for 1.1. Then you have Aptos. Aptos has another unlock in 14 days for 226 million. Sandbox, the Metaverse Play, is about 79.4 unlocked so far. They have about 93 million that's going to be unlocked in 17 days. Then you have Flow. Flow basically has 1.9 million going to be unlocked in 19 days. Then ApeCoin, 60% has been unlocked so far, and they have 22 million that's going to be unlocked in 20 days. Then you have the Rose token. 56.3 is unlocked so far, and then you have an unlock coming up of 17.8 million in 21 days. And the reason I talk about this is because, yes, you can have a good project, but if not a lot, if the tokenomics are bad and you still have a lot to be unlocked and people are selling, that price that could probably hit a 20x probably won't do that because of the price suppression, and maybe it'll be a 10x or a 5x, or maybe even lower than that. So that's why I post this and I talk about this. So guys, that is my video for today. That's the end of the week. These are the things that, I was looking at personally that impact my bags and my portfolios. Crypto space, I'm very optimistic about it. I think we're right where we need to be. Right now, the prices are still trading sideways, so good entry points, good DCAs. And I think we stick with what we know, and this year is going to be special. Next year might be even better. So just hold on, guys. It's going to be a nice bumpy ride at times, but it'll be well worth it. Thank you for spending your time with me, and we'll talk later. Bye.